Hi viewers, in this video lesson we will learn the retrogressive metamorphosis of Herdmania. This organism belongs to subphylum urochordata, class Acidaceae. The members of class Acidaceae, they have a peculiar character that they undergo retrogressive metamorphosis. This retrogressive metamorphosis is seen in some parasites of arthropods and this Herdmania. So in other cases we see metamorphosis that is a progressive metamorphosis. So let us see what is this retrogressive metamorphosis and how this retrogressive metamorphosis is useful for this Herdmania. In this video we are going to learn 4 points. The first point is characteristics of adult, then development of Herdmania, then characteristics of juvenile stage, then the process of becoming the ascidian tadpole larva into a young Herdmania. So these 4 points we are going to learn in this video lesson. In the first point, the characteristics of adult, we are going to learn the external morphology of the adult Herdmania. Then also first we will study the external morphology, then we are going to study the internal anatomy of this organism, then we understand the general characteristics of chordates. There are 4 fundamental characters present in chordates. Those 4 fundamental characters are common in all the chordates. So organisms which have those 4 fundamental characters are called chordates. Then those 4 fundamental characters are: first one, dorsal notochord, then second one is dorsal neural tube, and third one is a pharyngeal gill slits, then fourth character is a post anal tail. So these 4 are fundamental characters of chordates. So these 4 fundamental characters are common in all chordates, either in their development stage or in the adult stage. So sometime in their life history we observe these 4 fundamental characters in all chordates. So in this adult organism, first we study the external morphology, then we will study the internal anatomy, then those 4 fundamental characteristics of chordates. We will observe all these 4 fundamental characters in adult, whether these 4 fundamental characters are present in adult or not, if they are present, in which form they are present, whether they are present in the reduced form or whether they are present in the developed form. So next we will study the development of Herdmania. So the adult organisms, after developing the gonads, the male gonads and female gonads from the mesodermal tissues, those gonads releases gametes, and those gametes forms the zygote, and that zygote will develop into the larva in case of Herdmania. Usually this kind of development is called indirective development. If we observe larval stage in the life history of any organism, that kind of development is called indirective development. Generally after formation of zygote becomes into young organism in most of the organisms, and that kind of development is called direct development. If this zygote becomes to larva, and that larva after undergoing metamorphosis that will develop into young organism, that kind of development is called indirective development. So in this Herdmania we observe indirective development. That means adult organism will form larva. Adult organism will not produce the young organism, so that adult organism, instead of producing young organism, it produces larva, and that larva is called ascidian tadpole larva. Then we are going to study the characteristics of that ascidian tadpole larva under the characteristics of juvenile stage. In this also we are going to see the external morphology of ascidian tadpole larva and internal anatomy, and also the general characteristics of that ascidian tadpole larva. So finally we will discuss how this ascidian tadpole larva becomes into young Herdmania. So this process is known as retrogressive metamorphosis. So this is our prime objective of this video lesson. So at the end of this video lesson we are going to understand how that ascidian tadpole larva becomes into Herdmania. While a larva becomes into a young organism, it loses some structures, and the larva has more advanced characteristic features than the young organism. So the young organism has the primitive characters, that means undeveloped characters than the tadpole larva. So the tadpole larva has the advanced characteristic features. So this kind of phenomenon is known as retrogressive metamorphosis. In retrogressive metamorphosis, organism with high developed characters or high advanced characters becomes into a organism with a primitive characters. So that is seen in this Herdmania life history. So these points we are going to discuss in this video lesson. So to understand this retrogressive metamorphosis, so we must understand the characteristics of adult and the development of Herdmania and the characteristics of juvenile stage. So all these 3 points should understand to understand how this ascidian tadpole becomes into a young Herdmania. So let us start with these characteristics of adult. In characteristics of adult, we going to study 3 points again. So they are external morphology, then body organization or internal anatomy, then characteristics of chordates. So all these we are going to study under the characteristics of adult. So first let us start with the external morphology. This is the image of the adult Herdmania. So this adult Herdmania looks like a potato, so they have given the name sea potato. And the body surface of this sea potato or this Herdmania has 2 pores. They are called branchial pore and atrial pore. So 2 pores are present on the body. They are present on the branchial siphon and on the atrial siphon. So branchial siphon has branchial pore and atrial siphon has atrial pore. Water enters into this organism through this branchial siphon and leaves from the body through the atrial siphon. We know that all the members of urochordates are exclusively marine organisms. So these marine organisms, they depend for food on the water which enters into the body. So water which enters into the body brings the small microorganisms. So those microorganisms are the feed for this adult Herdmania. So while the water leaves from this atrial siphon, water ejects with a force. So when water enters into the body, water doesn't enter with a force, but when it leaves from the body, it ejects out with a force. So because water ejects from this organism with a force, the organisms have got other name, that is called sea squats. So because the water ejects out with a force, these organisms have got other name, so that is sea squats. And the body of these organisms is covered by very thick tunicin material. So the subphylum of this urochordata is given other name, that is called tunicata. So all the members of this subphylum urochordata, their body is covered by the thick tunicin material which is similar to cellulose carbohydrate. So this adult organism is a sedentary organism. It attaches to a rocky substratum and leads sedentary life. While the larva is a free swimming organism, it has a tail. With the help of tail, it swims in the water. So that we will study under the external morphology of the juvenile stage. So these are the important point we should remember regarding the external morphology, that there are 2 pores present on the body surface. They are called branchial pore and atrial pore, which are present on the branchial siphon and atrial siphon respectively. Then the body is covered by the tunicin material. They look like a potato, and their body is attached to the rocky substratum with the help of the base. So with the help of this base structure, it attaches to the substratum. So this is the external morphology of adult Herdmania. Let us see the internal anatomy of this organism. Inside of the body, we observe so many anatomical parts, but our focus is only on the physiological systems of the body. Physiological systems of the body we are going to discuss now. So the first physiological system is digestive system. So we are going to observe 6 physiological systems in the body. They are digestive system, then the respiratory system, then the excretory system, then the circulatory system, then nervous system, and finally the reproductive system. So let us see how all these physiological body systems are present in the adult Herdmania. This digestive system is the major system in the body. So most of the part inside of the body is covered by the digestive system. This digestive system opens with the mouth in the branchial siphon, and it opens into atrium by anus. So it opens into branchial siphon by mouth, and it opens into atrium by the anus. Then the respiratory system. So respiratory system is primarily performed by the gill slits, and the gill slits are present on the pharynx wall. So on the pharynx wall we see the vertical slits, and all these vertical slits on the pharynx wall are called gill slits, and these gill slits performs respiration in the adult Herdmania. So they are primitive respiratory organs in the adult Herdmania. Next, excretory system. So this excretory system is performed by neural gland, so also the pyloric gland. So neural gland and pyloric gland are present in the body, so those structures performs the excretion in the adult Herdmania. Along with neural gland, pyloric gland, nephrocytes are present. Those nephrocytes collects this excretory waste from the body organs, and those excretory waste are collected by the neural gland when the nephrocytes moves in the internal cavity of the neural gland. Then the circulatory system. The circulatory system, the primary organ of the circulatory system is heart. So the heart is covered by the pericardium, and heart has one dorsal vessel, also the ventral vessel. So with the help of this dorsal vessel and ventral vessel, the blood is collected and distributed into the body organs. A peculiar character is observed in the circulatory system of Herdmania, that is called reversal blood flow. So reversal blood flow is observed in the circulation of Herdmania. We are going to study all these physiological systems in detail. Next, nervous system. So the nervous system is consists of three parts. They are neural gland, nerve ganglion, and dorsal tubercle. So all these three parts, neural gland, the nerve ganglion. So this nerve ganglion is also called the cerebral ganglion, we can observe here. So this cerebral ganglion is present between the branchial siphon and atrial siphon. So also this cerebral ganglion is called brain. So this is how the nervous system is present in the adult Herdmania. Then reproductive system. So male gonads and female gonads both are present. So we can observe the testicles and also the ovary in the body. So these testicles and ovaries, a pair of gonads are present, so they produce the sperm and ovum. So some species of this Acidiaceae, they perform external fertilization, and some species of this Acidiaceae, they perform even the internal fertilization. So most of the members, they perform external fertilization. So these are the internal structures, internal physiological systems that we observe in the adult Herdmania. So other than these physiological systems, some more structures are there. Let us see them. They are endostyle structure. So this endostyle is present in the ventral wall of the digestive system, and this endostyle secretes a mucus which helps to trap the food particles from the water. Then atrium. So this is the largest cavity in the body, atrium. So in urochordates, the body coelom is completely absent, and the body cavity is replaced by the atrium in the urochordates, and true coelom is confined to only some visceral organs. So we can see that is in the visceral cavities. So these visceral cavities are only restricted to some body organs of the body. So most of the body part has the atrium. So atrium is the place where all the materials from the digestive system, from the excretory system, also from the reproductive system, so from digestive system, reproductive system, excretory system, so all particles are released into the atrium. From this atrium, these materials are released into outside of the body through the atrial pore. So this is the internal anatomy of the adult Herdmania. In next video, we will discuss the physiological systems in detail. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe for my channel.